When I'm puffing on a potent, silent, but I stay strapped. Gave her wood, now she talking about family tree. You know it ain't that. Ain't got time for the bad bees, dog. I got money on mine. Watch my chain too long, have me nervous. I put money on your mind. The Cali be potent, that girl is a bogus. I can't risk my seed. My heart too low, took L's like fug. Big slime soon free. Had to drop cause the fans they keep asking. You drop trash, had the fans all laughing. Disappeared and I
Welcome back, people. It's your boy Yardman Leng, Airsoft Special Ops, and we are back. I've been getting a few reviews saying that I should be in the videos a bit more. I shouldn't just do this hand stuff. But what I will say is run up the videos that have me in it so that these hand videos don't become the in thing. And I say this just because the hand videos became the in thing, which is why we're here. Do you kind of get what I'm saying? So watch the videos, like, share, subscribe, all that sweet stuff, because then it will make me want to do those more type videos. Do you get what I'm saying? This is YouTube at the end of the day. We're here to get views. But without further ado, I'm basically going to go into a gun that I spoke about before. So a lot of you who are on the channel, you'd have seen we spoke about this bad boy the other day, but we're not actually talking about him today. Instead, we're talking about his bigger brother on the side right here, the G36. But it's actually called the AR-36, the AR-36. Quite a mouthful, but yeah. And I kind of wanted to basically do an update video for this bad boy because the last one didn't go too well. I basically, and it was my fault, so I'm gonna actually speak on that and actually show you guys around it and just give you guys advice, because one thing I would say is when I done the original video, there was just things I didn't know, so I was under misinformation. One of those misinformation was that this gun could shoot 11.1 batteries. It turns out that is not the case. That first video you watch, you'll see me plug an 11.1 into it and you'll see what happens. I got the delivery notes back from it because obviously the company I bought it from, they do repair. Sorry guys, I run out of breath. But yeah, they do repairs. Like if you buy a gun and on the first use it's broken, they do like a repair service. So when they opened it, what they found was the buffer and the buffer tube, and I think it said something about the nozzle. All three of those were damaged. I believe that's because they are plastic this is plastic internals as well as plastic exterior, and when you run an 11.1 battery in a gun that's recommended 7.4, you're basically throwing, what's that, 4 almost 4 volts. Is that 4 volts? Am I correct? Yeah, you're throwing 4 whole volts more through the gun system than it needs. So that buffer tube's working 4 times, should I say 4 times? Just 4%, 40% more harder than it should, for example. So yeah, maybe about 25%, should I say, maybe about 20-30% more. So it looks like I had shredded my internals. Luckily they sent it back, it's all working, so I'm quite happy to show you guys. And I kind of wanted to do this video because I just feel like this gun is so underrated. At the value that it's sold for, it's so underrated. They should basically speak more about it. So I'm gonna try, and it comes with the stock for free. Like, thank you SPECNA Arms for thinking outside the box, because one thing I did say when I first held the G36 was half the time you are up here trying to find grip and get a balance off the gun, whereas with a grip anyway, it's just nice and stable. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm seeing, but it's just nice and stable. You can maneuver the gun, you can twist the gun, you can kind of just operate as you please, if that makes sense. And I think for airsofter who plays in different types of environments, that's very important, because there'll be equations you need to break down the stock, for example, and when the stock's broken down, you can SMG it a lot more comfortable. Like I can even hold it based off that front grip with no back grip support. It is still quite weighty because the gun does still have some type weight to it, but even the fact that it's doable. So yeah, I'm basically just going to show you around this bad boy. First things off the top I want to speak about is outer rails. Well done SPECNA Arms on that, because I have owned probably G36 wise, I probably owned 3 G36s. This is the first one that has those. Now some people, I know some YouTubers are gonna, or even just that, you know, keyboard warriors, they're gonna say to me, oh, you should have just looked for the rails that screw on. I own several guns. I probably own about 6, 7 different rifles. Every single one of those rifles, I took the rails off. None of them fit, and they're not from the same company. G&G, another SPECNA arms gun. Basically, there was a few that I tried on there, because LT, Lancer Tactical, I tried every company's rails. None of them would fit. And what I think from what I can see here, what I think the problem I was having was, it was number one, the type of rails, because these rails are actually metal. If you're not careful, I've had a couple times where I've caught my fingers on it as the gun sliding out my hands or something like that, and you could easily cut yourself on these. So one thing I will say is be careful, just because they're metal and they're quite sharp, the edges on them. However, that's good. More time I handle this gun in gloves anyway, so that doesn't tend to be a problem. It's just obviously on days like today where I'm just excited and want to show you how the gun works, kind of thing. But and it literally just came back yesterday from repair, so you guys can't say I'm not being current. I'm being very current. As soon as things happen, I'm trying to film them and just get them uploaded for you guys. So yeah, that was the first thing, which basically just gives you the ability to put a grip. You don't have to use this grip. You could use a V grip like I've got on this gun, but I chose to go for more like a stand-up grip, because number one, it's free, it came with it, and number two, it just gives you, with a gun like this where it's a bit longer, like I don't know if you can see, it's not by far, but it's a bit longer than my other rifle. With a gun like this, I just want that little extra added support. You might not think that inch is a bit, that space is much, but in a gameplay where you're tucking a wall, that's the difference between being seen and not seen. And the thing I like about the M4 bodies compared to the G36 bodies is my M4 body is very slim. So even if I poke the wall, unless you're really focusing on the wall, you won't be able to see my tip, or barrel end, should I call it. Whereas with the G36, from the moment you poke from about here onwards, they can see everything. Number one, because of the color, which might mean I might have to spray this black, but I kind of like the green thing that I'm going for. And this is in tan. This is not actually green. Green is this color right here, and green is the color that's on my V-stock. They're very close. It's like a dark greeny tan, but it is tan. That's one thing I will say. It's considerably, to the eye, it's clear. It's very clear. What else would I say? Okay, so let's move on, because there's a few things around this gun. Another thing I wanted to speak about was its shootability. I've shot, though I've owned 3 G36s, I've shot probably about 10 different brands. Some people have built them from scratch, etc. The one thing I will say about this straight out the box that I like about it, my friend basically had to spend $450 just to get a G&G, or a G36, sorry, that shoots this way. Straight out the box, I was able to just adjust the hop up and look through this front sight, and it shot straight away. I remember there was even like, I don't want to list the store, but there was a store that I went to, and I was there for about 45 minutes with this G36. I wish I filmed that video because it would make a bit more sense, but I was there for about 30-40 minutes and adjusting the hop up, shooting, adjusting the hop up, and I just could not get the bloody thing to shoot so I could look out the sight and aim through the front sight. And I just found that interesting, because for me, I have this one rule in airsoft: if I can't take a gun out the box, adjust this hop up and look down the barrel and use its sight to shoot and aim at something, that is terrible. And you might say I'm doing too much, but think about anybody who comes into airsoft. You don't always have the big budget for a scope or zoom scope or magnify. These things cost money. Some of these things are really expensive as well. So you want to provide something as a company that somebody can literally just take out the box, adjust some hop up settings, and boom, they can look down their barrel or their sight and it be fine. It's the first one I've seen it be able to do that, and I had a lot of fun. Sometimes with G36s you have an issue where it's like trying to see where your BBs go. Unless you're on a fast skirmish field, it's so difficult because the gun tends to shoot quite fast, where it's a Gen 3 gearbox. It shoots so fast that tracking your BB can be very difficult at times. But one thing I would say about this one is obviously it wasn't as easy as tracking the BBs on this, for sure, especially indoors. But what I would say is this was probably the best experience of tracking my BBs with indoor shooting I've experienced on a G36. So well done for that as well, SPECNA Arms. And you might think all these things are like not minor, but sometimes you don't want to look down the scope. You want to track where you're taking a shot. And one thing I did say is when it came, I was able to just throw a battery in it. I have 5 targets up in my room, and I was able to kind of just slap without aiming down sight, and each shot was just bullseye. Couple of them weren't bullseye, but I'm not gonna lie, like because they were so close to bullseye, I was just like, this thing is lethal, especially for its price. Obviously it's a polymer build, so you do want to be careful dropping this, but I do feel like if this was to drop a couple times, I'd be all right. The only thing I would really be worried about is this charging handle, because as much as it looks like metal, I have taken it out at one point and got to see that it's not metal, so you probably want to be careful with that. Another thing I would say is be careful greasing the internals or exterior of this gun. If I was going to grease this, it probably would be to bring back, you know, sometimes the polymer goes a bit worn, like for example in this gun there's a lot of like worn, and it's just where the polymers hit things, rubbed across trees, been dropped on the floor, or do you get what I'm saying, sat on a wood table, it tends to scratch the polymer. If you just oil the polymer and then rub it down with a polished cloth, you'll find that it comes up like brand new again. But that's the only type of oiling I would advise on, well, in theory any electric gun, but I say this specifically just because your charging handle is very exposed in 2 aspects, number 1, and then on the second thing, just because it's an electric blowback, so your charging handle moves every time you shoot, which I'm gonna basically show you guys. Selector switch, I would have preferred if it was metal, because one thing I did notice is it was plastic, and I was a bit like, ooh, wear and tear over, yeah, that's gonna wear. But I was just like, do you know what, ease yourself, we'll see how it gets on, because it might prove me wrong. It might actually prove me wrong, and they might also be cheap to repair, so peeps, let me know in the comments if that's an easy repair. Okay, it looks like the same selector switch on an MP5 if I'm correct, or MP4 is it? MP5 I think it is. It looks like the same exact system, even the layout of selection. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like what else can I talk about? This top section here is metal on other brands, but it isn't metal here. The bolt-in is metal, so that's good. And to be honest, I don't feel like, you know, sometimes you hold a gun like, and it's like this gun where it's like, I've held lots of metal M4s, but when I got this, even though it was polymer, I still felt like, rah, do you know, it's a good gun, even though it's polymer. And it's because it feels sturdy. With this, I get the same kind of feeling, though the externals and the internals aren't necessarily, not everything is metal. I feel like I can trust it, which for me as an airsoft player is a very important thing, just because the last thing you want to do is go into a field and be so panicky, like, oh, let me hold the gun extra safe, let me move past the bush, and let me be careful as I go past the bush. You don't want to be thinking like that. You want to go into, one thing I like about this, for example, when I took this out to Mayhem for his first game ever, I basically terrorized this gun. I dropped it in mud at points, I brushed it against containers as I was sliding into locations. You'll see it in the footage, go back and you'll see I've lent it up against barrels to aim and shoot. I'm in bushes running past, and bushes are getting caught in it. I'm coming out of games pulling bushes out my mags. Like, I abused this gun, and to be honest, it done its thing. I took it home, cleaned it up, wiped mud out of it, and it ran the whole day. No complaints, no complaints. So it's this, I think with this one, the big thing for me at the moment is I'm trying to get out to a game as soon as possible, because I'd love to have the ability to put this G36 or AR-36, should I call it, through the same things I put this through, just to see if I feel the same by the end of the day, and just to see if it's still intact working by the end of the day. Another thing I like is obviously it's mags, they connect. M4 suppliers, please play. I don't know how there's so much M4s and it's the most valued platform. I would call it the most valued platform in airsoft, because I would say about 75 if not 80% of the field any given game, it depends obviously where you go, because I've gone some sites where it's like most man have MP5s, like that's such a famous gun on some skirmish sites. AP, Billericay, certain sites like that, they love an MP5, but majority of the sites I've gone to, niggas are running M4s. It might be different brands and different barrel lengths, and some of them might be set up like DMRs, but niggas love the M4. It's like the Glock, you know how like Americans love the Glock for personal carry and stuff like that. The M4 on an airsoft field is like, it's basically the baddest B. Do you get what I'm saying? But yeah, M4 suppliers, I don't understand how you haven't got onto this. It's literally a plastic fitting that connects M4 mags. Like, I don't understand. Are you guys trying to bump us by selling us drum mags or something? Why you don't want to do this? Like, just do it. Cause even me, like, I like the design so much, I done it anyway. I just connected, but again, I just taped them together. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so that's that. But yeah, please do it, guys, please. And if not you, some second-hand provider, do it for us. I would pay good money for mags that connect, M4 mags that connect like this. I'd even invest in a 3D printer, somebody who's got a 3D printer, and pay them good money to put our designs on it just to be able to sell them, because I know so much people that complain about this. So if there's anyone listening, shout me. I'll send you the money, I'll send you my logo, and we can do some business together. But yeah, anyways, one thing I would say about this that I liked as well, let me see if I can show you guys quickly, is the loading process is so easy. It's like, from you slot it, it's in. Look, it's not coming out. It's so smooth. One thing I didn't like with some of the other G36 was you had to wrestle it in there. With this, look, both mags slots in so easy, and look, it's firm. It's not damn acting for you guys. I cannot pull this out. Another thing in terms of the release as well, another thing I like is the release is so smooth because the button as well is so functional. The other G36, it's like you have to wrestle with the button, whereas with this one, it's such a smooth process. Like, look, in, out. You know what I'm saying? In, out. And that's me just rustling and tussling where I'm not looking at it, I'm looking at the camera as I'm doing this. But do you see what I'm saying? It's such a nice, you know what I'm saying? And it's in. And it's in again. And it's in. So switch over in theory should take you literally like, maybe if you're quicker than me, 1.5 seconds. Because I'll give you an example. If I held the gun as I would and done a reload, should take you about 1.5 seconds. If you're a slow reloader, like maybe 2-3 seconds, because I'm not rushing, and look, it's still quite quick. 1 2 3 4. Oh, that one didn't go. Yeah, that one didn't go in. So let's try this again. So 1 2 3 4 5. That's the most it should take you. Tuck a corner, like literally. If you're on a field, tuck a corner. 1 2 3 4 5. In again. Tuck a corner. 1 2 3 4. I'm saying a bit quicker this time. 1 2 3. Yeah, you know I'm saying 1 2. You know what I'm saying? I just made 2. Yeah, the more you do it, is the more you'll get faster at it. Do you know what I'm saying? Quick switch overs, because it's so close. Quick switch over. So that's another thing I really love about it, the connected mags, and then the quick switch over, and then just the smooth mag system, because there's not a lot that have I'm telling you, even the best M4s, that even, I'll give you an example. I've just bought a £400 £500 gun. That mag system is not smooth like this. I'm not going to say the brand of the company because I'm not here to name and shame, but that mag system is not as smooth as that mag system. And it's bad because, as this mag system, sorry, it's quite bad because it's a £500-600 gun. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's around that mark. So you'd think that's something as simple as that, but I think what they've gone for is more the firm chamber as opposed to like a cheaper gun.
Actions, ish I had to do. If we unified, we overcome slavery. Many think it, I just say it, call it bravery. Young, progressive and black, you know they hate to see independent. I don't care what labels could pay a G. So much leng past my lung. Private company feeding us GMO foods, they wanting us trapped. My young boy just came home for a booting, that young nigga tapped. Can't be slipping when I'm puffing on a potent, silent but I stay strapped. Gave her wood, now she talking about family tree, you know it ain't that. Ain't got time for the bad bees, dog, I got money on mine. Watch my chain too long, have me nervous, I put money on your mind. The Cali be potent, that girl is a bogus, I can't risk my seed. My heart too low, took L's like fug. Big slime soon free. Had to drop cause the fans they keep asking. You drop trash, had the fans all laughing. Disappeared and I